So this is Jacob's Algebra, Chapter 9, Lesson 7, and we're going to finish off problem 6b. Okay, so the problem that we had was dividing 4x plus 9 into 4x cubed minus 3x squared minus 23x plus 9. And we already found that we'd have to multiply 4x times x squared to get 4x cubed. And so we multiplied x squared by 4x plus 9 to get 4x cubed plus 9x squared. And then we flipped our signs and added. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed was 0. Negative 3x squared plus a negative 9x squared is negative 12x squared. And then we brought down our next term, which was negative 23x. Now we have to see how many times, well, what do we have to multiply 4x by to get negative 12x squared? Well, to get the negative 12, we would have to multiply the 4 by negative 3. And to get the x squared, we would have to multiply the x by another x. So we have negative 3x. Negative 3x times 4x is, of course, negative 12x squared. And then negative 3x times a positive 9 is a negative 27x. Now we draw our line, we flip our signs. Negative 12x squared plus 12x squared is 0. And negative 23x plus 27x is 4x. Now I bring down our last term, which is a plus 9. And I say, what do I have to multiply 4x by to get 4x? Well, that's really easy because we just multiply it by 1. 1 times 4x is 4x. 1 times a positive 9 gives us a positive 9. We draw our line, we flip our signs. 4x minus 4x is 0. 9 minus 9 is 0. So this is just 0 here. What is our answer? X squared minus 3x plus 1. Now remember, we already worked this out as part of number 5 using the box method. So we can go back to that page. And we can see that the answer we got was x squared minus 3x plus 1. And of course, we have x squared minus 3x plus 1. We should get the same answer. So if you work this out and you get a different answer, you did something wrong, either in the previous problem where you were using the box method or in this one where you were using the long division method, because you should get the same answer both ways. So this was number 6, which is just like number 13 in your homework. So now we're going to look at number 7. Number 7 is long division. You can work this out using the box method if you like, because it doesn't say specifically which way to work it. So you can work it out how you want. So number 7, I'm just going to work part E. Part E is x cubed plus 7 into 2x to the 4th. That's an x. Minus 3x cubed plus 14x, and then minus 21. Okay, so we ask, what do we have to multiply x cubed by to get 2x to the 4th? Well, 1 times 2 would be 2, so I've got to put a 2 there. And then x cubed times x would be x to the 4th, so I need an x here. 2x times x cubed is 2x to the 4th. Now I need to multiply the 2x by 7. 2x times 7 is 14x. Here's where you've got to be really careful. You've got to put it in the x column. So we need to put that over here in the x column, and that's a positive. Now we draw our line, and we flip our signs. Well, 2x to the 4th minus 2x to the 4th, that's 0. 14x minus 14x, that's 0. So now we need to bring down our other terms. We have a negative 3x cubed and a negative 21. What do we have to multiply x cubed by to get negative 3x cubed? Well, we need a negative 3 to make the coefficient work. And then x cubed just times 1 is x cubed. So we just need to multiply by a negative 3. Negative 3 times x cubed is negative 3x cubed. Negative 3 times a positive 7 is negative 21. We draw our line, we flip our signs, and when we add this together, we get 0 here, we get 0 there. That means that we're done. So our answer for 7E is just 2x minus 3. Okay, I'm going to work one more from number 7. Let's look at part C. So this is 7C. It is x squared minus 4x, and we're dividing that into 3x cubed minus 19x squared, and then plus 28x. So what do we have to multiply x squared by to get 3x cubed? Well, we have to multiply it by a 3 to get our coefficient. And then x squared we have to multiply by an x to get the x cubed. 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times negative 4x is going to be negative 12x squared, because 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, and x times x is x squared. We draw our line, we flip our signs, and now we add. 3x cubed minus 3x cubed, that's 0. Negative 19x squared plus 12x squared, that's going to give us a negative 7x squared. And now we bring down our 28x. And we say, what do we have to multiply x squared by to get negative 7x squared? Well, we just need a negative 7 because we've already got the x squared. Negative 7 times x squared is negative 7x squared. Negative 7 times negative 4x, that's going to be a positive 28 because it's a negative times a negative. 7 times 4 is 28. And then we have an x. We draw our line, we flip our signs, and negative 7x squared plus 7x squared is 0, and 28x plus a negative 28x, that's a 0. So our answer is 3x plus 7. Okay, so that was number 7, which is just like number 14 that I assigned for homework. Okay, next thing to look at is number 8. This is really not asking for a whole lot. For number 8, it says to write the polynomials in descending order, putting in any missing terms. So 8C has 6x squared plus x to the 4th minus 3 plus 2x. So the first thing we have to do is find our highest degree term. That is x to the 4th. So we're going to start with x to the 4th. Now what's the next lower down degree term? That would be x cubed. But there isn't an x cubed up here. So that means we need to put in a 0x cubed. The next term below that would be x squared. We do have an x squared term. That's 6x squared. The next term below that would be 2x, would be an x term, and we have a 2x. And then the next term below that would be a constant, and we have a negative 3. So that is what we get when we rearrange this in descending order, putting in missing terms. We have x to the 4th plus 0x cubed plus 6x squared plus 2x minus 3. We're going to do one more, part D. Part D, we have 10x minus x to the 5th. So we need to start with our highest order term, and that is our x to the 5th. Be aware that you need to grab the sign that's in front of it. That negative applies to the x to the 5th. So we have negative x to the 5th. Then we need to write our x to the 4th term. Well, we don't have one. So we have to write plus 0x to the 4th. Now our x to the 3rd term, we don't have one of those either. So that is 0x to the 3rd. Our x squared term, we don't have one. So we need to write 0x squared. We do have an x term, that is just 10x. And you don't have to write a last one for the constant. You can just stop at that point. So that is how you write the terms in descending order with the missing terms filled in. So this was number 8, which is just like number 15 that I assigned for homework. And the reason that you're required to do this is because in the next problem, you need to use this. So number 9 says, before an attempt is made to divide one polynomial into another, it's helpful to arrange both of them in descending order with any missing terms inserted, which is what we just did in the previous problem. Do this before doing each of the following divisions. And it says divide x squared minus 1 into 4x cubed minus 5 plus 5x to the fourth minus 4x. Okay, so the number that we're dividing by is x squared minus 1. We're missing an x term, so I'm going to fill it in. So we have x squared plus 0x minus 1. So that's what we're dividing by. Now we need to divide this into this long term here. Our highest power term is x to the fourth, so we're going to start off with 5x to the fourth. Next would be our cubed term, and we do have one. So that is plus 4x cubed. Then our x squared term, we don't have one of those. So we're going to say plus 0x squared. And then we need our x term, that's negative 4x. And then our last term is negative 5. So now we can start actually doing our division. X squared times what is 5x to the fourth? Well, we will need 5x squared, because 5x squared times x squared is 5x to the fourth. Now, when we multiply that by our x term, we get plus 0x cubed, because 5 times 0 is still going to be 0. Now we multiply this by our negative 1. 5x squared times negative 1 is negative 5x squared. We draw our line. We flip all of our signs. 5x to the fourth minus 5x to the fourth, that's 0. 4x cubed minus 0x cubed, well, that's still going to be 4x cubed. Then we have 0x squared plus 5x squared. That's going to give us 5x squared. We have 3 terms over here on the left. That means we need to pull down our third term. So now we say, what do we multiply x squared by to get 4x cubed? Well, we would have to multiply it by 4x. So 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x times 0x, that's still going to be a 0x squared. 4x times a negative 1 is going to be a negative 4x. We draw our line, we flip all of our signs. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. 5x squared minus 0x squared, that is 5x squared. Negative 4x plus 4x, that's 0x. And then we need to pull down our last term. We need 3 terms because we have 3 terms over here. So x squared times what is 5x squared? Well, we just have to multiply it by 5. 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times 0x is going to be a 0x. 5 times negative 1 is a negative 5. We draw our line. We flip all of our signs. 5x squared minus 5x squared is 0. 0x minus 0x is still 0x. And negative 5 plus 5 is 0. That means that our answer is going to be 5x squared plus 4x plus 5. So that is how you would work number 9, which is just like number 16 that you have for homework. Make sure on this last problem that you rewrite what you're dividing into and what you're dividing by in descending powers, and that you put in your missing terms. So if you jump from a square term to a constant, you need to put a 0x in between them, because otherwise you're going to end up with stuff that does not make sense. So make sure that you rewrite the problem with everything in descending powers and fill in your missing powers with zeros. And that is all.